news that Kings fans may or may not want to hear. If you don't want to know how close the Kings were to winning the lottery, mute us momentarily for the next 2 minutes.
This kind of feels like, I mean, you've watched Beavis and Butthead, right? And you remember the gym teacher?
No, I don't know.
You don't remember the gym teacher?
Brother, I was 3 when Beavis and Butthead was a thing.
Okay, so the gym teacher, realistically, it's Hank Hill, right? So
yeah. But, same Mike Judge, right?
Yeah. And he would go around saying, "Kick me in the Jimmy." That's what this is like. So Kings fans, hold on.
All right, everybody, buckle up. Zach Lowe was on his own podcast, the Zach Lowe Show, talking to Bill Simmons. And Zach Lowe is one of the media members who is in the room when they do the lottery drawing.
Yeah.
So not when they reveal the envelopes so it's on TV, in the private room before they go out and do the broadcast on television, there is a private room with media members and a representative from each team. And they're watching the lottery happen. Zach Lowe is describing the scene inside the room and actually lets us know how close Sacramento was to winning the lottery. Here's Zach Lowe. I'll let him tell it.
The first ball comes up 10, and we've lived this movie before where a high number comes up. Everybody's in play with the high numbers. Second ball is 14, which is the highest number. And now there's what? Now it's just everyone is still in play.
So 10 and 14 means the lottery is officially drunk already with 2 balls left.
Then 11 comes up, is the third ball. And at that point, Justin Zanuck, who is representing the Jazz, and Will Dawkins, who was representing the Wizards, I think Justin looked at Will and was like, oh, this is not this. This is the level of murmuring that was going on. This is not going well for us. 10, 14, 11. Here was what was in. Now there's this delicious 20 seconds where everything's in play, almost everything. If the last ball was a 6, Blazers win the lottery. If the last ball was a 1, Wizards win the lottery. If the last ball was a 2, Pelicans win the lottery. If the last ball is a 3, Brooklyn wins the lottery. If the last ball is a 4, Toronto wins the lottery. If the last ball is a 7, Mavs. If the last ball is an 8, the Bulls win the lottery. If the last ball is a 9, the Kings win the lottery. And here's the kicker. If the last ball is a 5, a 12, or a 13, the Spurs win the lottery for the second time in 3 years.
Okay, so it's not that the Kings got to within 1 ball of winning the lottery, because as Zach Lowe just laid out, there were a bunch of teams who were in play with that final ball.
Yep.
A whole bunch of them, including the Kings. What really hurts is that it was a 7, which is 2 numbers off from what the Kings needed.
Yeah, the Kings had a 9. The Kings had a 9. I mean, this literally feels
just
like
brutal, dude.
When you're at a raffle and you bought an arm length of raffle tickets for $8.
Yep.
And then you're reading the ticket and they get all the way to the last 2 digits.
3. Yes, that's me.
That's me. It's
8?
still me. That's still me. It's still me.
0.
Yeah, I'm in.
1. I need a 6. 5.
4. You got a 4. No.
Brutal, man.
Oh.
I was listening to that yesterday, and as he's reading off the teams, I'm like, don't say Sacramento. I know they're going to be in there, but just don't say it, so that way we don't know for sure. And sure enough, 2 numbers. 2 numbers away from having the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, and I think it was either last year or the year before. No, I think it was last year. The Kings were 1 number away.
Yeah, with Wemby, right?
No, I think it wasn't the Wemby draft. I think it was because Wemby
the
drafted.
Reece Sachet draft, right?
Yeah, yeah. Which, I mean, you get the top pick last year and you would have been like,
It's a Reece Sachet. A good player.
No, I agree, but I think the
Alex
Kings
Sarr
would have probably traded that pick.
I imagine so. Yeah. So, anyways, if you're unmuted, welcome back.
Yeah.
You didn't want to hear how close the Kings got to winning the lottery. Alas, they don't have a pick. It goes to the Atlanta Hawks. And now, as we talked about yesterday, they have a full reset. Okay. Does it help? Make you?
You know what though?
Does it make you feel better?
It does make me feel better.
They were close.
It makes me feel better in a way because What it does
Oh.
is it legitimizes the way that the draft happens. That's what I think the cool thing is about the way Zach lays it out, because he says, he brings up that the first ball basically opens it up for everyone, right?
Yes.
Because it's if it's a low number, most of the teams with multiple picks are early in the draft, right? They're the early numbers. So when it was like the first number was an 11, and then he said the next number is a 14, which again puts the number way up higher on the board. And everybody in the room, it's on the wall, but everybody in the room also has, like, he said, there's like a sheet of paper that they give you, or like a bundle of papers with all the numbers and who has what numbers. And so you're sitting there shuffling through to see where it's going. And it makes me feel better because, again, like, someone can say, well, it makes me feel worse because if they would have, just lost one more game, they would have been tied with Dallas, and then it's possible they would have been in that spot.
Oof.
But that's just like, you would have had to win 2 coin flips in order to get to that spot.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many woulda, coulda, shouldas.
Win a couple more games.
Yeah.
If you win 2 more games, you're in that spot, right?
Well, no, if you would have lost one more game, you would have tied with the Mavs and with the Bulls.
Yeah, but then you're doing coin flips. But if you win 2 more games and you don't advance to the playoffs, you would have been in the Mavs spot, right?
No, because the Mavs were lower than the Kings.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I had that
the
backwards.
Mavs were
I had that
11.
backwards.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, very good. NFL schedule releases today, and just to let everybody know where we're at, it is so far the 49ers schedule leaks we have are that they are set to visit the Seahawks in week 1.
Okay.
They will host the Jaguars in week 4, and they will host the Giants in week 9. Those are the schedule leaks so far.
Okay. Yeah.
Just keeping everybody up to date. That the schedule is officially released on at 5:00. No, but I was trying to look for it. Zach actually shows on the podcast on the YouTube show. He pulls out the piece of paper, and it is just a packet of numbers.
Oh yeah.
And which team is associated with which number. And he showed that. I was trying to find that to pull that up, and I couldn't find it.
I like that they pulled the curtain back a little bit, and that, to be honest with you, it's Zach Lowe. He's one of the most well-known, podcasters, one of the most well-known podcasters, but also one of the most trusted.
Yeah.
So there is, Zach is about as honest as you get.
Yeah, he's the classic, like, down the middle journalist type. Like, he's a huge basketball fan. You can tell he loves the sport.
Yeah, and he's incredibly intelligent.
Yeah.
Like, he's a lot of fun to hang out with.
He is super smart. It is so fun listening to him break down games.
Oh yeah.
He's a brilliant dude. Shout out to Zach Lowe. I might try and get him on the show.
There you go.
Other news yesterday, I want to talk more about